Alright, this video is going to be some commentary over a +10 Algathar Academy that I did on beta the other day. If you guys want to see what build I played, and you also want to get the weak ore pack that you see in the middle of the screen, both of those can be found in my Discord. A link to the Discord is in the description of this video. So, let's talk about the dungeon. This one's pretty cool because someone always DCs as soon as we start. You can see there the tank DC'd. It's a bug with the ramp thing that you take right at the start. It happens every time. I hope they fix it. But right when you zone in here, you're able to talk to basically an emissary of each of the Dragonflights, and each one will give you a specific stat. So there's blue for mastery, I think black for crit, yellow for haste. But I went for blue this time. I went for mastery. As you can see my stats in the bottom right, I'm going full mastery. I don't know if that's actually the play or not, but that's kind of what I was testing here. Using mastery to, you know, kind of pump into the rage fire and immolation aura, any means necessary type of stuff. So, yeah, here's our first look at the Thundering affix. This is the second iteration of it so far. It will likely be changed at some point, but basically, you have to dodge those swirlies right away, and then 4 people in your group are marked with either a mark of wind or a mark of lightning. And as you have those on you, you have a 25% damage increase, or a 15%, I can't remember which one. And then once you run into the person who have the opposite mark, it removes it. And you do have to run into somebody and remove that mark after a certain duration, or you will get stunned. So yeah, these pulls are pretty insignificant here. There's not much to really watch out for. The big guy does that frontal. That's really the only thing. The little guys do a cast, and they leap on you, but they don't do much. This is a good padding pull right here. As you can see, my damage is pretty high. And so is the Prot Warriors. That's going to be a theme throughout this this run here. You'll see Prot Warrior is pretty broken at the moment. But yeah, basically I'm playing Essence Break and Momentum, and just kind of playing around that. So you can see there we cleared the seasonal fix right there just because we were running into a pack. And this pack is very dangerous, especially if you're pulling all 3 like that. There's those tomes right there that cast sleep on somebody, and there's 3 of them in this pack, I believe, 3 or 2. So your best bet is to keep them stunned, or, you know, assign people to interrupt those books. I got lucky here, and, you know, none of them landed on me. I didn't get put to sleep. We're looking good. So lots of big pulls right at the start of this dungeon, which is pretty fun to play around for sure. You can see my damage is insanely high there. I will say it's very nice to not be playing Sinful Brand anymore. But I have bad news for you guys. It looks like we probably will still be playing Sinful Brand in the pre-patch, except it's not going to be as annoying. There's going to be some things you can do to make it pretty awesome, but we'll talk about that in another video. This is the first boss here, Eximus. Super simple boss, really. I feel like they could add something else to it, but there's these orbs that are going into the boss. You have to soak them or not let them hit the boss because he gains mana or energy as he consumes them, kind of like the Mana Devourer in Karazhan. So you just got to soak those. You're also going to get 2 people marked with this thing here, the circle with the arrow. It drops a puddle on the ground. You want to take that away. And the boss also has a frontal. I do think there's something weird happening with this boss where so when he gets to 100 energy, he does this AoE thing on the ground. You have to dodge this thing right here. But he's still gaining energy even though no balls are hitting him. So I'm not sure what the what the deal is there. It could be a bug. But yeah, that's the first boss. Pretty easy. Now we're moving on to this pack over here. This is just a pack of 2. This is actually a fine pull here because it's a chance to reset your cooldowns, kind of. Because the tank just let us know in party chat that he's going to do a big pull next. He's basically going to pull that whole island behind me. So right now we're just kind of fighting these. Dodging the swirlies, getting kicks when we can. Getting kicks and interrupts and stuns and stuff has been kind of an issue on beta. Because, you know, people don't have their add-ons to rely on. Their kick trackers, their, you know, plater and whatnot. So kicks are kind of tough to deal with on beta. So yeah, here's his big pull. I think I kind of murked some teammates there with that circle, but I had to get in there. was being greedy. And this is also a pull I could have used meta on, and I didn't. Which kind of sucked. But either way, I did do some damage here. The main thing that I'm trying to focus on here, because it's a problem that I noticed I had to fix, was I needed to press Throglaive more, because I have all of the Throglaive talents, Soul Rend, Accelerating Blades, all those other ones. So basically that makes Throglaive part of your rotation, and it's hard for me to I guess, ingrain that in my brain that I have to press Throglaive as often as I can. This guy kind of sucks. So he does these tornadoes here on the ground. They're spawning right there. They do a lot of damage if you get hit by them. Then he has this thing here. I think here I just kind of take it to the face and double jump glide to, you know, avoid the knockback. I do think at a higher key level, that knockback thing is going to do a lot of damage. It didn't do too much to me there, but I think as the keys scale up, it's going to do quite a bit. So you might actually have to run out and maybe LOS or pop an extra defensive or something, or, you know, just have something planned for it. All right, we're off to the next boss. Getting some lag there. Nice. Beta. And now we're going to fight some birds. There's these little packs of birds coming down here. Again, they don't do much. They, I think one of them has a cast. Maybe not in this pack, but in the next one. If you haven't noticed too, I'm using Fodder to the Flame. It's actually pretty good in terms of like lining things up with your Essence Break and all those other damage window type of things. If you can add another, you know, damage amp on top of that, things get even better. Elysian Decree is decent. It's good for, like, I guess, burst. But I think overall, Fodder to the Flame is better. You're also getting, like, a lot of healing from Fodder. So I just prefer Fodder. Plus, I have a really sweet weak aura for it. It makes me happy every time it goes off. So I've been playing Fodder. And, yeah, so Growing Inferno and Burning Wound make Ragefire and Immolation Aura do a bunch of damage. You can see that I'm spreading it around there with Throglaive. So we don't have to rely on our auto attacks, Demon's Bite or, you know, Demon Blade auto attacks to apply it. Those still do apply it, but you can also spread it with Throglaive now. And because we're, you know, adding Throglaive into our rotation, it makes it super easy. You can see there, I have a bad habit of whenever I get a demon proc through Fodder to the Flame, I kind of stop. I stop doing things and I like focus on the demon. I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw my glaive as soon as it gets into the pack. And I just stand there doing nothing. So that is definitely something I need to fix. And I urge you to be careful of doing that as well. What you can do is you don't necessarily have to use a throw glaive to kill the demon. It dies pretty quickly. So even if you just like, you know, keep doing your normal rotation, it'll probably die pretty quickly just through like your I-beams or, you know, blade dances or whatever. But again, Throglaive is part of your rotation. So now this boss is pretty unique. In this initial phase, he doesn't do much. There's those circles you have to spread with. That's about it. And then there's the frontal. And now you're going to pick up these balls and you have the choice to put them either into the blue circle or the red circle. If you go into the blue circle, I believe you get a haste buff and some wind goes on the platform. You have to run against it. If you go into the fire, you'll see here in a second, the bird catches on fire. Poor guy. But he takes a big damage increase. So I think it's like 75% increased damage. On the other end of that, you do have to like dodge those circles. Those flame patches on the ground really hurt if you get stuck in them. And I've actually died a few times playing, you know, Essence Break and Vengeful Retreating into one, or, you know, trying to keep momentum up and I accidentally fell rush into one. So that has happened. Something to be careful of. And yeah, if you utilize that damage amp phase, this boss falls over. There are people on beta that are just not throwing any balls, right? They're not going into the red or the blue one, and the boss literally just sits there and does nothing. It does make the fight take a lot longer, obviously, because you don't have that damage increase from the fire, but it's safer, that's for sure. So, moving on to the next area, this is where the tree boss is. When you start the dungeon, you do have the option of going here first. You can come here from the other end. I think maybe like at some point groups might do that because this could be sort of a pass-fail type of boss. It can be pretty difficult if you're not doing it correctly or you don't have the damage for it. So I think getting it out of the way early is definitely a good idea. You can also lust on it, which is, you know, getting lust on cooldown pretty quickly in a key is always ideal. And we're doing a huge pull here. This is definitely very, very dangerous. There's two types of mobs in here. There's the plant ones, then there's the birds, bugs, chickens, whatever you want to call them. The plants are pretty easy to deal with. They just drop the green circles on the ground. You got to dodge out of them. That's basically it. Don't get hit by them. The flying things, on the other hand, the birds, they do this kind of leap dart thing on players. And on a plus 10, you can see like it we're going to pull another pack here. It does a decent amount of damage, but when I was doing it on like a 13 or a 15 later this night, one hit of that leap was basically one-shotting people. You can see our health kind of dropping there as we get hit by them. So they are pretty scary to deal with. And yeah, luckily there's 2 packs of those. That first pack of the birds, you don't have to pull with all those plants. I think that was an accident. So anyways, this boss, the tree, he does a few things. Soon here, he's going to cast Germinate. Yep. So those circles, those swirlies, they kind of follow you as you run. You do have to move out of them because they will kill you. And each one that, each swirly on the ground will spawn a lasher. At this phase, those lashers don't really do anything, but you do have to kill them because he'll do an explosion at some point, and the more lashers that are up, the more damage he does. He also throws this tree. So this tree, you have to kick his heel, and you basically want to focus it down as soon as you can because that little green circle that he dropped on the ground there when he died, that circle removes the dot that you get. So you definitely want to focus that tree as soon as you can. Kill all the lashers as soon as you can. And the tree should fall over, hopefully. Pretty cool boss. I like that one. It definitely can get messy if your group isn't stacking and there's, you know, lashers being spawned in every direction and they're not close, so you can't cleave them down. The idea there is to get them stacked and grouped up as closely as possible so you can kill them quickly. Now these guys are a little scary because they do Disrupting Pulse. And not only does it make you stop casting, but it does a ton of damage. Now what you can do is you can LOS the Disrupting Pulse. Unfortunately, they're not being tanked in a great spot here, so for me as melee, there wasn't really a spot unless I really like ran away. But, you know, if you were a ranged class or a healer, you could have like LOS'd on the stairs that we just came up around the corner there or something like that. But there wasn't really a spot for me, so we were just kind of crossing our fingers and hoping for the best here. And we killed them. There's more of them up here. There's 2 of those guys that cast Disrupting Pulse, and there's a caster. Cast Arcane Missiles, you can kick that. And again, we're doing a massive pull here with even more things that are going to cast Disrupting Pulse. And right here, like I said, I'm just crossing my fingers. I'm praying that we kill them before they kill me. But yeah, that's what happens. So there's literally nowhere here for me to LOS. I could have popped Blur, probably, but yeah. That's something you definitely have to be careful of. Make sure your tank knows to just tank them somewhere where you can LOS. Even like at the corner of those stairs right there, you can just like dip around the corner real quick to LOS and come back in. Anything to sort of save you there. And then luckily I get a res here from our shaman. Here it comes. Tank just keeps pulling. That's fine. That's fine. We're trying to +3 this key here. So we got 2 more of these guys. They're going to cast Disrupting Pulse. Again, you could pull these like right into the door. And there's a little alcove, a little alleyway there for you to, you know, LOS pretty easily. But what I think you could do in the future, maybe in higher keys, is you can pull everything, like all 3 packs that we just killed, and pull them right into this, right into here. Maybe go all the way in and LOS them around here. Kind of like what you do in, for example, Tazavesh Streets. You know how you come into the room with the boss, and you're LOSing with the hallway. So this is the last boss. This one can get out of hand really quick. You're not going to see that happen here because we do kill the boss pretty quickly and efficiently, but basically every time you get hit by a mechanic, you get a stack of a debuff. You can see up in my debuff section, I have 1 stack so far. So when you get 3 stacks of that debuff, you drop a basically this arcane little zone on the ground, and that zone orb thing is going to kind of pulse orbs, and if they hit your team, you can see how it starts to ramp up, and each time somebody gets 3 stacks of that debuff, they're going to drop one of those orbs. So the tank here is going to be at 2 stacks now, I believe, because he has that targeted circle on him that he can't avoid. That circle does go on people, so that's just an unavoidable one. But that pull-in, that can give you a stack. The breath can give you a stack. There's all kinds of things. But yeah, that's the dungeon. Pretty easy boss if you play it right. If people start making mistakes, it can snowball and get out of hand pretty quickly. So yeah, there's my DPS there. 88k overall, pretty good, pretty decent. Could have done better if I didn't die on that one pull, I think. So I'm sure there's a couple times where I could have used, you know, potions more efficiently, or even meta'd, like on that one pack after the first boss. I should have meta'd. But oh, I also wasn't using Sigil of Misery as often as I should, or I don't even know if I used it at all, but I was spec'd into it, so definitely something I can improve on. And yeah, basically just like my overall Essence Break rotation, you know, I'm very, very aware that it's not perfect, but still, we're working on it. We're working on it. And you can see Rage Fire there, just absolutely blasted. Got some good Rage Fire timings there. Death Sweep doing a lot of damage, Immolation Aura, and Essence Break and Throw Glaive. So yeah, there you go, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to pop into my Discord. Again, link is in the description below. You can get the build that I was playing, and you can get the week aura package that I have in this video. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.